You know you have a limited number of hours in a day. You really do. And because there's an AI tool for everything now, it's easy to believe you can just speak a solution into existence. Build the thing yourself right now from scratch because it shouldn't be that complicated. Now, I did that to myself this week. Let me show you how much time I wasted and what I should have done instead. Let me show you where I went wrong. Here's the trap, and you know it is because you've done it too. A deadline landed on my calendar. For me, it was the Brazil 25% tariff. And now suddenly, somebody in C suite, an executive, wants to know how it's going to affect us. So here they go. And instead of opening the system that I already built for exactly this, I thought, this one's simple. I'll just handle it directly. So I started pulling SKUs, chasing part numbers, rebuilding a scenario from a spreadsheet someone else gave me because I thought it was going to be faster. And I did it all by hand. Because in that moment, it felt faster to use their spreadsheet than go back into my TOS system, which was a huge mistake. I now know. But let's continue. And then 2.5 hours later, I have one scenario, not a strategy, one freaking scenario. That's not a discipline problem. It's not even a tool problem. It's the gap between believing something can exist instantly and actually building it. And even when I'm the one who built the system in the first place, I can still talk myself out of using it, thinking, oh, I'll just go ahead and do it this way. Look, if this sounds familiar, hit subscribe. I put these breakdowns out as I actually live them, not as theory. They're field tested. And this is the scenario that I always try to think of is when you buy something, it comes with an instruction booklet. And in all perfect scenarios, if you read that booklet, if you go online and see all the tips, they're doing it all from reading that booklet. Then there's the people that have done it for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, that have actually built furniture, that have actually done things that can say, hey, so what you're going to experience is that the actual floor is a little uneven, and so it's gonna make when you screw this in, it's gonna make it go wonky or whatever. And those are the people that you trust because you already know that instruction booklet is just a theory on how it's supposed to be done. Practical solutions are what real people live, and I live it. So I just wanted to go ahead and put it out there. If it sounds familiar, if this is something that you'd be interested in, I put these breakdowns out as I actually live them. So they're not theory. Now, I'm Rami Verk. I'm a procurement leader. I'm a trade and tariff strategist, subject matter expert, over 20 years in supply chain, founder of Career Chronicles, and creator of the tariff operating system. I built this system because I got tired of rebuilding the same exposure analysis from scratch every time a new tariff hit the calendar. So this week, when I caught myself 2.5 hours into hand building a Brazil scenario, and not even that, the Section 338 that just came out with Canada, I, like, instantly was able to go ahead and put that into my system because I already had it built and I was not about to do what I did with the Brazil thing, okay? Just so you know. I stopped, closed it out, went back into my own command center, and I was able to go ahead and pull out exactly what my C-suite was going to demand of me come Monday morning and give them exactly where we're gonna be at, what our exposure is, and what it's gonna cost them when it comes to the tariff 25% hitting today, the 23rd, okay? If you're listening to this at a later time, then just so you know, on July 23rd, 25% hit, and it hit a multiple of SKUs, material IDs, HTS codes, all that, okay? 3 minutes, I'm telling you, that's what it took me once I stopped fighting my own system. I opened the executive command center, the presentation layer that sits on top of 4 workbooks I keep current, and that's in the Tariff Impact Automation Suite, and the scenario analysis was already there. Brazil exposure mapped, ready to present tomorrow. The 2.5 hours didn't happen because the system didn't work. They happened because I went around it. And here's the part that stuck with me. If I can burn 2.5 hours doing this the hard way and I built the tool, how many hours are other procurement and finance teams burning right now doing the exact same thing because they never had the system to go back to in the first place? Budgets still need to be current. Stakeholders still want to know how tariff risk is hitting them in real time. That doesn't pause because you didn't have the 3 minutes to spare. It just means you spend hours instead trying to give them what you think they want, when in actuality, in reality, the command center breaks it down with the presentation mode, shows them exactly where they're exposed, how you can move around it, how you can budget for it, and how you can take real time action and have strategies in these scenarios. And okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if I were you and you didn't want to go ahead and use my system, this is where I'd start if I was rebuilding this from zero. First, get the deadlines out of your head and onto a calendar you don't have to maintain yourself. I, of course, offer the free 90-day tariff risk calendar. It's what put Brazil's July 22nd date in front of me in the first place. It also put it into perspective when this started becoming a conversation back in 2025. Okay? Before ever needed to react to it. Now, mine has 6 tabs, it's already built, it's free, you can use it, or you can build one yourself, whatever works for you. Second, once you know a date is coming, you need to see what it actually does to your exposure. That's what the Tariff Impact Automation Suite that I built is for. It's scenario visibility mapped to your own spend, but nothing forces it to be one. You can put whatever identifier your ERP already uses, part number, material ID, whatever you run on. You're not reformatting your data to fit the tool, which is the best part. Third, now this is something that I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of sneak peek into. Once you've already got your scenarios built, you're going to want to strategize them. Now, if you're just getting started in the tariff operating system that I built, I did go ahead and give you like an entry point, which is the Tariff Playbook Suite. It's basically the lightest entry point for a foundational strategy. If you've already got exposure mapped and you're ready to build the response out further, so I use the tariff scenario strategy kit, and that's basically what picks up exactly where these scenarios leave off. Again, you can build your own, that's fine. But I've already spent years and years doing this. That's the pairing that goes hand in hand. Which one you need depends on where you're standing, not which one I mentioned first. The point is the visibility already exists. I already built it once and then I actually use it. You need to do the same. If you build it, you need to actually use it. So you need to put in your real scenarios. I'm going to go ahead and have all the links in the show notes in the description here. This is the full breakdown of basically what I was talking about. If this saved you from spending your own 2.5 hours somewhere, probably longer than that, because for me, it took a few hours because I do this all the time. I can't imagine someone who's not a subject matter expert, who doesn't deal with tariff risk strategy every day, that has to go ahead and do this. I mean, imagine pulling a procurement specialist, a senior category manager, and having them do this instead. There's gonna fumble around just like you would when you know the knowledge, but putting into practice is really difficult, and it can take weeks sometimes. Or you hire consultants, which can cost you thousands of dollars and not give you real-time results. If this saved you from spending that time somewhere, subscribe, it's free, and it's what keeps me putting these out because then I know there's an actual interest because I get so many DMs asking me my advice, and I can't personally respond to everything. So I thought, you know what? I'll start putting these out because generally they can help a multitude of folks. You don't have to be the person re-explaining your exposure from scratch every time a deadline moves. You just have to be the person who goes back into your own system instead of around it. A lesson that I learned personally after how many years of doing this? Over 20 years, and I thought, "Oh, I can you know what? I don't feel like going ahead and doing this. Let me just go ahead and go into the workbook that they gave me," because that's what started it. To be honest with you, they sent me something that they did, and I was like, "Oh, let me just use what they had and go ahead and do it in there." That's what caused me so much it was just not it just caused me grief. I don't know if I'll leave this in, but if I do, it'll be at the very end.